This section we are going to handle our product resource. In this video, first of all, I will create my product model. Okay, we know that in Mongoose we have to create our product schema, and then we register that and get back our model. So first of all, to create a model, I simply go to my backend, create a new folder here with the name models. Okay, so in the models I will create my file that is called product.js. Okay, so model is just like the structure of your resource. For example, we have different resource in this project like product, order, user. Every resource had different structure. Like in product we have product name, product price, product description, images, rating. Okay, so these are all the fields, or you can say that structure of the product that we have to define, that what is a product, what is the structure of that product. Okay, so for that we have to create a model. So to create a model, I simply first of all import here mongoose from mongoose. Okay, and now we have to call in here const product schema. First of all, we have to create a schema with new mongoose dot schema. So now with this mongoose dot schema, in that we have to pass here the options or the fields for this product. Okay, so that is going to be product schema. First of all, we know that we have product name, so that is going to be name. Okay, now in that we can define multiple options for this name. First of all, what is the type of the name? So type of the name is going to be string. We know that a name is a string, so we'll type here that the name type is going to be string, and then I type here another field that is called required, like this. Okay, so I type here true, and then a message that please enter product name. Okay, so if you don't type the product name, it will throw this error that please enter product name. So in this way we can define the required field, and this is a required field, user must enter it. Okay, and then I will simply can define here the max length, like max length, that is going to be, for example, 200 characters. I will simply type here product name cannot exceed 10, or sorry, 200 characters, like this. Okay, so in that way we can define multiple options for a field. Okay, in that case the type is going to be string, required is going to be true, and max length is going to be 200. If we cross 200, it will throw the error. Okay, so this is for the name field. Now next we have the price. So the price of the product is going to be a number, so I type here type is going to be number. Okay, and I type here that is it is also required. I type here true, then I type here please enter product price, like this. Okay, so in this way we can finally have a price field, and also you can type in here max length. Okay, so for example I type here 5, that product price cannot exceed 5 characters, or 5 digits, you can say that. Okay, so in this way we can also define the max length of the price. So now we have here name, we have here price. Now let's copy this one just to save some time. Third one is going to be description. Okay, now the type of description is also going to be string, so required is true. I will type here and please enter product description, and let's remove this from here. We don't need here max length. So this is the name, price, and description. And next we have here the ratings of the product. So ratings, definitely that is going to be a number. Okay, and that is not required. By default it is going to be 0. We can put in here the default value, like what is the default value. So we know that by default if we don't have any reviews, definitely it is going to be 0, and it is not a required field. So after the ratings we also have to store the images of the product. We know that we have multiple images. Okay, so that is going to be an array of images, and also we are going to host our images on Cloudinary, which is very popular image hosting website. Okay, so from the Cloudinary we will get back two values. One is going to be ID of that image, okay, which is a unique ID that we will use to find the image or delete the image, and then the URL of that image that we have to pass in the image component to display the image. So first of all, let's type here images. Okay, that is going to be an array. Okay, so in this array I have to define the model. First of all, I have here public underscore ID, and that is going to be string. Okay, in the same way I have in here the URL, like this. Okay, so now we will pass in here an images array that contains public id, that is going to be string, url, and that is also going to be string. Okay, so after the images, let's also define in here the category of the product. Okay, so what is the category? So I will type here the type is going to be string, of course, and then I type here required. So for the required, I will copy this from here, that this field is required, please enter product category. Now we can define one more field here, that is called enum. Okay, so with the enum we can define here some values. In that, first of all, I type here values array. For example, I type here laptops, and also I put in here a message that is going to be please select correct category. Okay, so what this enum will do is, we will first of all put in here an array of all the values that we only want to allow these values for this field. For example, in this case we only have laptops. If user pass anything other than this laptop, the user will get this error that please enter correct category. Okay, so with this enum we can restrict the user to some specific values, and we have to restrict the user in this case because we only have limited categories. Okay, we cannot allow user to enter anything in the category, so we have to define here enum values. Okay, it is just like a drop down menu that user must have to select that from the drop down menu, and we will use a drop down menu on our front end. Okay, so let's put in here all the values. So save some time, I will simply copy the values. You can define your own values here. For example, in this case I will use these: electronics, cameras, laptops, accessories, headphones, food, books, sports, outdoor, and home. You can put more, or you can change these values according to your project. Okay, so this is the category field. I hope that you understand. User must select from these options, otherwise user will get this error. And next, after the category, we also have to store the name of the seller. So I'll simply copy this from here, copy that, and I put that here. That is going to be seller. So type is going to be string, of course, and I type here please enter product seller. Okay, so this is the seller field. And after that we also have to store here the stock of the product. So the stock is going to be number. Okay, and it is required, so I will simply put that right in here, that please enter product stock. What is the stock of this product? So now we also have to put here num of reviews. Okay, so num of reviews type is going to be number, and default value is going to be 0. Now this field is going to have total number of reviews of that product. By default that is going to be 0. And now we have here number of reviews. We also have to store in here the reviews of the product. You can also create a separate schema or separate model for the review, but we have very simple review model in which we just have to save the rating, the comment, and then the user that has given that review. So that's why I will create that here. So that is going to be reviews, and we know that there are multiple reviews, so I will create here an array. Okay, so in that I can first of all the user that has given that review. So type is going to be mongoose dot schema dot types dot object id. Okay, so now this is going to be an id of the user. Right now we don't have any user in our application, but in our upcoming videos when we will implement the authentication, we are going to have the user. Okay, so we are going to store in here the id of the user. So what is the type? So type is going to be the mongoose id, and we can get that from mongoose.schema.types.object id. And for the reference I will use here ref, that is going to be user. Okay, and we will create user in our upcoming videos, and then I will simply type here that required, that is going to be true. So this field is required, which is for this user. Now after the user we also have to store in here the rating of the user. So the rating is going to be type number. Okay, and required is going to be true. So this is for the ratings. Then we can also put that for the comment in the review. So comment is going to be string, and required is also true. Actually we can also put that for here. I can simply put in here that type is going to be string, Enter is also required. So user must pass uh, the public ID and then the URL while basically setting up the image in the database. So type is going to be string and required is going to be true like this. Okay, save it. Okay, so now we have here this reviews array that is going to contain the user, rating, and then the comment. Now we also have to save the user in the product schema that has created that product. Remember that this is the user that has created this review, but we also have to save the user that has created this product. For that I will simply also add in here the user. So that is also going to be type object ID, and reference is user, and required is true. Now this is the user that has created the product. And also you can add here a created ad field that on which date it is created. Like I type here created ad, I type here type date, and default value is going to be date dot now. Okay, so now it will add the current date while saving the product. Also you can delete this from here. You can simply pass in here an option. After this you can pass in here timestamps to true, and Mongoose will automatically add created ad and updated ad fields in your document basically. Okay, so you can just type here timestamps to true and it will handle that. So now this is our product model. I hope that you understand. We have defined here the name, price, description, ratings, images array that is going to contain public ID, URL, and then we have created here our category field in which we have used the enum values that user can only select from these values. Then seller stock number of reviews. Then in the reviews array we have stored the user, rating, comment. Then we have saved the user in the product document that has created that basically product. And then we have typed here timestamps true to get the created ad and updated ad field that is going to contain the date. Okay, so now we just have to export the model. So I will simply type here export default. Mongoose has a function that is called model. In that, first of all I will type the name of the model, and that is going to be product, and then the schema that is going to be product schema. So now it will register that model and give us back. Now we can use this product to basically get, delete, or put the data in the database. Okay, so in my next video I will first of all create my new product and save that in the database. If you have any question you can post in the Q&A. I will try my best to respond there. So that's it for this video. I will see you in the next lecture.